One of the city's best-known sites is the Louvre Museum. The Louvre, in its successive architectural metamorphoses, has dominated central Paris since the late 12th century. When it was built, it stood on the city's western edge, though the original structure was gradually engulfed as the city grew. The dark fortress of the early days was transformed into the Renaissance dwelling of François I, and later, the sumptuous palace of the Sun King, Louis XIV. Here we explore the history of this extraordinary edifice, and of the museum that has been its occupant since 1793. Constructed of cut stone, the Louvre is a masterpiece of the French Renaissance. In the 16th century, architect Pierre Lescot was one of the first to apply pure classical ideas in France, and his design for a new wing at the Louvre defined its future development. Originally a royal palace, the Louvre became a public museum at the end of the 18th century. In the 17th century, architect Claude Perrault collaborated in the final design of the colonnade, a massive row of paired columns that rises above the unadorned first story and dominates the majestic east facade of the Louvre. The austerity of the east facade, with its central pediment and end pavilions, is often associated with Perrault's architectural ideas. The simple character of the ground floor basement sets off the paired Corinthian columns, modeled strictly according to Vitruvius, against a shadowed void, with pavilions at both ends. The facade, divided into 5 parts, is a solution typical of French classicism. Home to one of the most famous collections of fine art in the world, including the priceless Greek statue known as the Venus de Milo, and the portrait of the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci, the Louvre Museum is the most important of France's national museums and art galleries. The Louvre's collection covers Western art from the medieval period to 1848, formative works from the civilizations of the ancient world, as well as works of Islamic art. The collection is grouped into 8 departments, each shaped and defined by the activities of the curators, collectors, and donors. Visitors to the Louvre now number 9 million every year, making it the most popular art museum in the world. The Louvre takes up the south side of the Rue de Rivoli, and on the other side runs an arcade more than 1.6 kilometers long. The Rue de Rivoli marked a transitional compromise between an urbanism composed of prestigious monuments and aristocratic squares, and the forms of a modern town. The Passage Richelieu links the Cours Napoleon with the Rue de Rivoli. The street is a mix of traditionalism with its monuments and squares, and modernism with its buildings of contemporary design. The houses lining the street all have identical facades, leaving the impression of an endless row of houses.